It all started when we sold our house. Everything since then has been a blur. Not long ago, we lived in a small rural community in the Midwest, surrounded by a patchwork of farms and woods. We've never owned a boat, much less sailed one, but we sold our house, our furniture, our cars, and about 95% of our other possessions so we could live out our new mission to sail Starlight. The first thing we did after we sold our house was find a boat broker. Fortunately for us, we found Larry. He works for just catamarans, which was perfect because, well, we wanted a catamaran. But back to Larry. Larry's a phenomenal guy. We don't even have enough time to list the many ways he has helped us. But the first thing Larry did was line up several boats for us to look at so we could get an idea of what we liked. Some boats were nice, but not a good fit for our family. Other boats were either too large or needed a lot of work. And then others, well, let's just say they were way out of our price range. So in the end, we chose a 2006 Leopard 40, which just seemed perfect for our family of four. So we made an offer. And once our offer was accepted, we packed up the family, viewed one of our last Midwest sunrises, and headed to the airport. Destination? Key West, where the boat would be hauled out so a surveyor could look at it before taking it on a sea trial. It was an exciting, if anxious, time for all of us. Our lives were going to change in ways we couldn't begin to anticipate. It's an uneasy feeling seeing your new home lifted up by two straps and moved by a giant lift. But it was all part of the process. One of the first things our surveyor did was take a hammer to our boat. Now, to be fair, it was a small hammer, but he had to tap the hulls and all the fiberglass areas to check for delamination. Now, delamination is a dirty word in the boating world, and you do not want your boat to have any areas of delamination. Unfortunately for us, our surveyor found no areas of concern, but he did find some other issues.
On everything back here, the rudders look fine. They're a little stiff in the bearing assembly, so I'm gonna look at that more once it's back in the water and see how it goes. But it's something for me to pay attention to. The propellers look okay. These are standard 2-blade aluminums. Nothing crazy, nothing fancy. I would just leave them like that. We'll see how it runs, but if everything's copacetic with how the boat runs, I would just leave them like that.
Okay.
on the sail drive, there's 3 seals.
Okay.
This outer one is not. I do consider that one of the 3, but it doesn't do very much.
Okay.
I usually call it a debris shield. The Volvo guys will call it like a laminar deflector or whatever it is.
Just the big stuff out.
Yeah, it keeps the junk out, and there is a big hole up underneath that,
okay,
where basically where the sail drive it fits up in there. So this just kind of smooths it out. With just keeping the junk off, you want to do it with as soft of a cloth or whatever is possible. Don't use like a bristle brush, because you're just going to take the paint off.
Okay. Soft brush.
And if you do it a little bit more often, then it keeps you from, if you do it real, like let's say like every 2 to 3 weeks, then it's super quick. As far as the physical condition on the engines, they're okay, they're fair. Okay. We do have quite a bit of rust and corrosion on them. On the other one, it is a little more obvious than on this one. But this is the heat exchanger right here, and where these end caps, you can see how that part is a different part than the body, and that's on both sides. Particularly on that engine, there's a bunch of corrosion on it, and that we're probably going to have corrosion on the inside as well. Now, where the exhaust gas comes out is through that guy right there. It's called an injection elbow or an exhaust elbow, and you can see where the raw water comes out and connects into it. We've got a bunch of corrosion on both of those. More than likely the elbows are going to need to get replaced, and the heat exchangers are going to need to get serviced. Particularly obviously on the starboard side, that's probably the most likely reason for why we've got overheating on it. But I would recommend doing it anyways, even if it didn't overheat. They look pretty rough on it.
After a full inspection on land, now it was time for our sea trial. So we raised the sails and headed out to open water. Unfortunately, there wasn't much wind, so we had to motor, which was just fine with us because it was an absolutely beautiful day. Next time on Sailing Starlike. Well, after less than 1 hour of actually taking possession of the boat, I did this.